in Game 2.
And that's something that was almost forgotten about when they came into this tournament. Everyone was picking Eve. And I look at the bans already from Najin Sword. They banned out Kog'Maw and Vayne right off the bat, which it's something Captain Jack's kind of been relying on in this tournament a little bit, is the non-big three AD carries that we've seen. They don't, I mean, Ezreal could potentially be available, but Najin Sword has the first pick, and they're just getting rid of his hyper carry set.
He did okay with Ashe a minute ago.
Yeah, he did do pretty damn well with Ashe. But, oh, actually a Sona first pick for Najin, so that's something that Kane relies on, really, and they trade it for an Ezreal, so that's actually a pretty bold move. Both of those picks really powerful. Well,
of course, we've just seen Azubu Blaze using Nunu. We thought originally it was like, well, they've taken that away from COGU because they picked up that Kog'Maw pick. They were like, well, they're going to have Nunu with this one. They took it away. Something the Korean teams often say, you know, Nunu is just not a valid support, and yet worked pretty well.
It's something that they had been saying a lot before the World Finals, but I'm really curious, just because of the success that TPA had in the World Finals with Nunu, whether they've kind of picked it up. They've only had the 2 weeks before, and they've started playing that, and they do have the TF selected. That would be really awesome if we saw Ambition come in with that. We haven't seen it much, and there's Twisted Fate. It's always nice when we see something new. We're just like, yes, now we get to have an exciting game. And this is something that's going to make it so difficult on both of Najin Sword's other lanes, the bottom lane and the top lane. Macnoon's got to pick something more safe in the bottom. Sona's already vulnerable to Twisted Fate ganks. Really, as soon as you see a TF in the game, it just changes the environment. If they just go with Nocturne here, they're going to try to match it. So as long as he can pick what lane TF's going to go in, he could match with a Nocturne ult. And at this point, even with Shen still alive, Azubu could be going for a full port comp, or Najin could try to block it here.
So you're saying Macnoon's going to be in the bottom lane. You just said he's going to pick something safe for the bottom. Is this something you need, here, chat? I mean, you often have these premonitions, you know, you guess these things ahead. Are you saying he's going to be bottom lane already?
That was actually an entire mistake. I said top over the bottom lane because they do so much lane swapping.
I just saw you were channeling your inner self again.
No,
here.
Definitely not. And actually, surprising there, he's going with a Malphite. I was almost expecting him to go with Shen to try to just block out Twisted Fate and nullify his porting in, but
you got the four-man dive as well, right? With the Nocturne,
they combo Nocturne with Malphite so much. We've seen it yesterday, I believe.
Watch was just outstanding on Nocturne yesterday.
Oh, man, and they dive buddy so well, always going in together, and pretty much when these fights start, it starts with the enemy down a man, because Malphite, he goes Magic Pen, he'll do like a Chalice of Harmony, Stork Shoes, Haunting Guys. It's kind of what Macnoon's done every game, then he'll finish it off with a Deathfire Grasp, and it's just so hard to deal with. I really like these picks coming back and forth. I'm just wondering what they're going to try to lane against Shen, because who was it? It was Hotshot who laned against Macnoon's Malphite on day one and just got absolutely destroyed.
Oh, okay.
And it looks like they might see that Cho'Gath could go. Yeah, they're leaving it for last pick. All right.
So Cho'Gath in the jungle. Well, I mean, we have seen Cho'Gath on top before. Hotshot used to run it a lot. It's almost certainly not going to be, though. I think that is definitely a jungler.
Yeah.
So we're going to have the maneuverability. You can see there's the big stun. There's the lockdown. If Zyra lands that stun and Twisted Fate is nearby, it's game over for whoever the catch.
And that's going to be a really dangerous bottom lane once again. It's just, even TF can port in, get the gold card to guaranteed Zyra. And once you just start that chain, any gank that Twisted Fate does bottom is going to be successful. So Najin Sword really has to make sure to come out of that with something. They're going to probably have to bring Cleanse on whatever AD carry they decide to go, or just the long-range Valkyrie might be enough. Najin Sword, ooh, with the Katarina selected. These are different picks than we've seen almost in day one. It was, there it is, Katarina. So that's a full dive comp. That's actually a triple dive. And they really want to get in on that, and that's not real.
No, I'd be so excited. I think, yeah, it needs a patch before that.
Yeah, it needs a couple.
When is that Heimer patch, by the way?
I don't know, man. You're crazy.
So the Katarina Corki being locked in there. So Corki Sona, we're going to have Olaf. Olaf is going to be on the top lane? Yes, he is.
That would make the most sense, yeah. So they've been picking Olaf in the top or in the jungle, but if Shy goes into this Olaf pick, if he ends up laning up against Macnoon, that's actually pretty good.
Yep.
He normally stacks, like, he doesn't stack armor on Malphite, but Malphite has a lot of natural armor. So getting the true damage through on Olaf will be really good. Across the team comps here, once again, it's really going to be all about whether Ambition can pull off successful ganks with Twisted Fate, or whether Watch can counter that. And then once we get into the full game, it's just the dive comp from Najin Sword going all in, and whether Azubu can repel that.
So let's get into the full game, ladies and gentlemen. It is going to be the game one of the grand finals here at MLG Fall Championships in Dallas. It's Azubu Blaze Najin Sword. We'll be right back. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the grand finals here at MLG Fall Championships. It is Azubu Blaze versus Najin Sword. Najin Sword as the blue side on your screen, playing from the left, and on the right, it is Azubu Blaze.
Look at this. Oh. So all tournament, we've seen very defensive play at level 1 from both, really everyone in the tournament, but in the grand finals, all 5 members actually rushed for the same brush and saw each other before they could engage, so it doesn't look like anyone's going to get caught out. But this is a very different mindset than these teams have had really throughout the entire tournament with aggressive level 1 5-man roams.
Well, we can see that Sona and Malphite, McNoon and Kane, both going a little bit higher towards that blue. Did they ward it up? They
there's a double ward in that brush, actually. Both teams with vision there.
So they've got a lot of wards out. And, you know, this is effective. I mean, it's an all-Korean game, so this is a different mindset from what they'd be doing against Western world teams.
That could actually be very true. These teams have probably scrimmed against each other fairly frequently. We've heard the North American teams lamenting all weekend about, oh, we don't have many scrim partners. Oh, Korea has such better scrim strategies. And it could just be that. When you play a team so frequently, you just get to know their styles and you pull out more unique strategies here. I don't think they realize there's a double ward on blue. There's pings down. They're actually just counter-invading each other's jungles. Looks like Najin's going to be able to get the blue, and Azubu's getting the red. The difference here, though, is that Azubu is going to realize Najin takes blue with vision, but they won't realize the other way around.
So you can see Azubu, they are set up. Najin Sword on the blue buff, so they're going to take that away from them, which means, are we going to see Shy possibly going for anything? No, he's just going to return to lane. McNoon returns to the top lane. Helios will be picking up the red buff, and everything resets. So, Jack, the lanes as they stand is the, oh, hello. We got AD support in the mid lane against Song there. Song's caught out of position. Jack is forcing him back a little bit, and Song takes a lot of damage straight off. We've also got Helios on watch. The Fear Leech is going to go off. Helios is diving in, catches the rupture. Can they catch on towards watch here? They're forcing him well out of the jungle, and he's forced all the way back to the turret. They should be able to take the wraiths away as well. Very aggressive start for Azubu here.
This is actually something that happened to Skara in the World Championships against the Saigon Jokers. They did a 2-man mid against his Katarina and really just shut him down. So Azubu taking the same tactic. This means that, however, that Ambition has to go right up against Praise Corki. That's going to be a tough matchup. Top lane is pretty natural for McNoon and Shy, but with this, there's so much early invading and aggression from Helios. They're really trying to get at him, but that blue buff has been taken away already. Who got that blue, actually? I've lost myself. It was Watch. He's picked up the second blue. There we go. He picked up his own blue. All right.
Yeah, I mean, Lustboy's just gone around. He's just placed the pink ward around the back side of the turret. So Helios is really setting up for anything aggressive. They want to watch where Nocturne's coming from. Obviously, he's going to be diving deep. And now you can see that Kane has had to maneuver in towards the mid lane to help out Song. Is he just going to head straight down bottom? He is. He's going to go head down bottom. So it's going to be a 2v1 bottom lane and a 2v1 mid lane. So McNoon versus Shy, Olaf versus Malphite. Let's actually finally discuss that one.
All right, so Shy and McNoon is going to be a very, I think, back and forth matchup. They can both trade damage very well. The shield coming up for Malphite versus the true damage spike from Shy. They're going to be trading really well, and I think that lane will be decided a little bit by ganks. There will be a slight minion kill advantage for Shy because Olaf is just a bit stronger for laner, and the fact that McNoon brought teleport and Shy has ignite will really dictate the threat in that lane. Coming over mid, this is a very awkward matchup for Najin Sword because has to be a Sona with a Katarina just so Song doesn't get completely denied. Very good lane swap here by Azubu. Captain Jack and Lustboy pushing up very aggressively to the turret. They'll need to get punished by ganks if Najin Sword wants to come out of that lane ahead. But in the bottom lane here, it's Prey versus Ambition's TF, and TF is not a very safe duo laner, or long lane laner, which is what's dangerous for him down here. So with Prey pushing up to his turret, he's actually playing right into Azubu's hands because TF is very good at farming a turret, and if it stays in that spot, they're going to be pretty well off.
And let's have a look at exactly what stacking, what sort of leveling Ambition is doing in this 1v1 lane. You can see he's got to pick a card in just one in that.
He's probably going to end up maxing his wild cards because he just wants to be able to shove back at his turret. Prey's going to probably try to just get as much damage down on these turrets. Even in the last game, we saw Azubu kill 5 turrets by 14 minutes against CLG EU, and Najin Sword is no stranger just to fast pushing either. So really, if anyone has an opportunity to take a turret in this game, they're going to go for it right away because both of these teams know very well how to capitalize off of early turret kills.
So with the pressure being put on towards the jungler, Watch was obviously had a little bit of pressure on him to start with. He's still going to be able to jungle pretty fast. You can see he's a level behind at the moment. And we do also see Helios maybe having a peek down towards his bottom weight. Prey is just backing off. He's well aware of the situation. They have got that ward placed up the river. But how would you stack these two junglers, Watch versus Helios?
Really early on, Helios seemed to have a pretty big edge. He was pushing Watch off of his objectives. But the thing is, he never actually successfully stole Watch's blue buff. Helios has a small advantage here, but for all the attention they paid for it and all the kind of surprise they factored in with the lane swaps, being 21-18 in minion kills, not having gotten any kills, and actually being only 50 ahead in gold, I do have to give a bit of an edge to Watch. They repelled all the early aggression by Helios, and when they hit level 6 is really when Nocturne's probably going to have a slight edge on Helios.
So we're seeing Double Doran's ring being picked up by Ambition in that bottom lane against Prey. Prey has yet to go back. He's still only used up 1 health pot as well, so you can see he's putting the pressure down certainly a lot more than Ambition is. Having a look towards the middle, we can see Watch possibly sneaking in on that mid lane. He's just lingering above Captain Jack right now. Captain Jack famously can get out of these positions. Lustboy also comes in, puts the ward straight on top of Watch, and they realize the situation, realize the danger, and actually pressure Song back a bit.
There's actually a dead ward that Watch ran through right at the last second of it, which allowed Lustboy to think he was in that brush, which is why he put the ward in and spotted him out. Really, both these junglers getting spotted quite a bit. This is something that happens really when you have the supports in mid lane. Normally it's bottom lane that gets overwarded, so that lane's hard to gank, but when you overward the mid lane, it really shuts down gankers in general because they need to use the river so much to get to their destination points that it just means that the other team constantly knows where they are. And just looking at this farm fest early on, 8.3k to 7.7k isn't a laughable difference. That's a pretty substantial edge, and it's just those lane swaps working out fairly well for Azubu.
Yeah, so you can see that at the top, Shy is actually out farming quite heavily on McNoon so far, 49 to 32. McNoon just, Shy just been forced to go back there. He's just going to go back and buy in the mid lanes. Well, you can see it is obviously Captain Jack versus Song, but the ADs, you just compare the two, and Prey really has been having a bit of a free farm session down the bottom here.
The thing with that is, though, he's free farming and shoving to the turret, but he's not denying Ambition anything. Yeah. Ambition's doing quite fine. And then you look back into the mid lane, and you know, it's a small edge almost everywhere. 41 to Katarina to 47 of Captain Jack. That's an edge. Really, surprisingly, Shy is doing a hell of a job up against McNoon. That's where most of their advantage is coming from. 50 to 32. McNoon actually had to go with a Doran shield. So we had our initial analysis of that matchup saying it was going to be pretty even. But Shy is actually putting on a bit of a show here. He's hit level 6 first. McNoon also hitting level 6. He has the teleport. They haven't actually traded anything, so he's using the threat of Ignite, even though he hasn't used it yet, to just beat on McNoon and keep him back from the minion line.
And with that GP10 advantage he's already got with the Philo Stone, I mean, you're not going to get anything from the Doran's shield. You're just going to have to sell it off eventually later. So he's immediately losing out quite a bit there. The gold earned from it, you can see Ruby Crystal already on there, so Heart of Gold's going to be coming out as well from Shy, so really doing a very good job in that top lane. 60 CS to 33, that's a pretty beefy difference.
Yeah, and you actually look, we saw the gold lead overall of 900. You look at the goal between Olaf and Malphite on McNoon, and it's 2,400 or 1,700, so 700 of the 1,100 gold difference is just in the top lane. The rest of the map is playing pretty close, but Shy really just doing work on McNoon right now.
So that bottom lane slightly pushed a little bit. You can see Ambition working away. That's because we just saw Prey go back. Prey come in, return into lane, going Berserker Greaves and the Phage early on. Now, just looking back at Captain Jack in the previous game, he went immediate bloodthirst. They're not going to be able to do it this time around. Pots the true shot barrage in the middle, expecting to see them go back and buy in a moment.
So last game he was able to do that because of the early kills, but this game they have to be really careful because of how aggressive Najin Sword's dive is. When they go in with Malphite, Nocturne, and Katarina, if they get the first kill, they're just going to keep chaining. So everyone on Azubu is actually going to have to build somewhat defensively, and you can see that already. Double Dorns. Oh, here's a gank up top.
Diving on towards Shy. Shy, the fear leash is not going to go off because you can see Ragnarok was used by Shy, so he just walks away from that one. Clever, clever use of it there, just making sure he used it at the right time.
So with the Nocturne ult down now, that leaves Ambition free to gank. I'll get to that in a second, but I need to finish off the point of resiliency. Everyone on Azubu is going to be building some bit of resiliency so they don't immediately die to the dive, because Najin Sword really relies on that.
So there's been a bit of a lane swap as well. You can see returning to the bottom lane now is going to be Captain Jack and Lustboy. Ambition going back in towards the mid now, so it's Ambition. And that means that Kane is probably going to leave this mid lane eventually. And Helios and Shy just making sure that shove up the top was safe.
I love watching these guys because every move they make is so logical. They have Ambition in the bottom lane on Twisted Fate because they wanted to deny Katarina farm early. But once you hit level 6 on TF, if you're in the bottom lane, your potential gank path is only one direction. You can only go up from there. You can only make it to the mid lane. Since he's hit 6, they need to send him back mid because that puts the gank threat to the top and the bottom lane again. It's a natural reaction. They've done as much as they can to deny Song. And here comes a just missed Zyra ultimate. Prey able to get out of that. It's just a matter of now Azubu has the map control. They didn't really shut down Katarina, but the lane swaps have given them enough of an edge. That's 1,600 gold already. They're really just out farming.
They are completely out farming. So 87 to 74, and like you say, it's very much even between the two. Ambition obviously with the advantage now over Song. However, Prey has the advantage. Where's Helios going? Helios with that Oracle. Has got the Philo Stone. It's going to be Song that actually got caught out a little bit there. Is he going to dive on towards him? He's using his ulti in the mid, and then meanwhile down the bottom lane, they are going to continue on towards Lustboy. They should finish him off. First Blood comes out, but it is not going to be on the person they need. They might be able to go towards McNoon. Here comes Twisted Fate. Ambition in now. Ambition gets the one. It's Captain Jack that picks it up. Can they get onto Kane now? He hasn't got the mana to bowl and pick a card. McNoon is very low as well. You can see them coming in. They had to back away because Watch and Song were both coming in as well. They are still coming back around the backside of the turret. Song thought about it. I don't think they're going to have enough to dive though.
So really, McNoon using his teleport to get in there, but his unstoppable force wasn't up. He had to use that earlier. Still able to convert the kill. Ambition, of course, with that move to mid lane, was able to come back. And now Shy, since he did not teleport down, doing his best to just push down on that turret and extend his lane advantage versus McNoon.
Yeah, I mean, 90 to 42, that is a huge difference. And he's going to become a problem because Song's going to be popping his ult and he's just going to walk in and slap him in the face.
Slap him in the face really could happen for that. I look as well, and it's just, this is a much different Azubu Blaze. The games yesterday were completely one-sided for Najin. Maybe it had to do with Jace ban, Evelyn ban, not giving him those power heroes. Najin going with something a little bit different. But they're taking the momentum from the COG EU game and really just pushing on. Mid lane Ambition comes down for Song, and here's Nock.
Watch diving in as well. That could catch him out. It does. And actually, he was baiting that one out, but well, Nocturne really helping out there. Watch in the right place at the right time and working out very well. Great dive.
Normally, when Twisted Fate gets ganked, he can pull a gold card and usually stun the opponent away. But that's why Nocturne is such a great pick for this matchup. There's really no real way of Ambition getting Nocturne off. He just waits for the gold card throw animation and just spell shields it. So he just trains him and will always get the fear off onto Ambition. Good gank there. And that was just a brilliant bait. Najin Sword really going to have to continue this dive stuff to get back in the game. McNoon really needs some help up against Shy.
So looking like DFG is going to be the first item coming out for Song in that mid lane. Meanwhile, is McNoon building the same there? He's got a Cage's lucky pick already. I guess he is.
So McNoon isn't really making the build. Like, he's had so much issue against the harass from Shy. He hasn't been able to go for his Chalice of Harmony because there's no health regen on that. There's no magic damage coming up from Shy. It wouldn't be that good of an item. Philosopher's Stone, it's just taking him so much longer to get to his items, and that's big trouble. I'm looking at the rest of the map, though, and the other members are doing quite well. They have to just do the work for McNoon, and McNoon has to be in there for support and initiation. He's not going to be able to carry this one himself.
Well, Shy absolutely dominant in terms of CS against McNoon. McNoon needs to try and get a couple more of those assists. Of course, McNoon is very much a different beast on Malphite. Tends to go ability power, but as it stands at the moment, he can't even go towards that, and Shy just keep beating him back popping the axes down. Helios coming down towards the bottom lane, just trying to help out down there. It's not exactly a sneaky gank. I didn't say he comes around, he's just clearing out the wards with that Oracle, making use of it. Watch just bought an Oracle as well. Watch position himself, thought about going towards that top lane, but he's going to clear out the Oracle instead in the river.
Both teams having Oracles now. They're going to try to set up more and more ganks, especially against TF. Deep warding is very important, and since they have Watch clearing all those wards, it's going to be much more difficult to react to Ambition's gank. He has that TF ultimate up again, so he'll be able to come in pretty much whenever he has a window in the lane. The big swing of this game, since it's still very close, is really going to be about who loses their Oracles first. So Watch and Helios have to be very careful where they go.
Watch
now
is
a 2v2 looking mid lane. This could be a counter gank. Really, he's just continually sweeping. Nocturnal not quite up yet again. They got huge targets on their heads, though, because of the importance of those Oracle's elixirs.
He was just delaying a little bit, but that ward, I think he caught position of it. They're going to go for Helios in the middle instead. Helios is right on top of Watch now, puts the silence across. Meanwhile, you can see Song going in towards Ambition, so it's very much a 2 1v1s. Has Helios got enough? Puts the rupture down. Watch dodges out of way of it. Put a feast, I think, on towards Helios. Managed to keep him away, and they just pretty much back off.
Helios doing quite a good job. Already at 4 feast stacks on Shogath, so he's going to be getting big pretty quickly. Watch is still clearing out these wards, finishing off yet another one in the bottom lane. The Nocturne ult is going to be up soon. The teleport of Macnoon's going to be up soon. Ambition's Twisted Fate ultimate is up right now, so we could very well see a very large team fight erupt pretty shortly, as both of these teams have a pretty good ability to just appear when something breaks out. Whether that's around a dragon or whether that's during a tower dive, we'll have to see, but I expect with the aggression that these teams show, we're going to see something pretty soon.
Song heading north. He's going up towards Shy, and Shy backing off there. There was no ward. That was just purely senses telling him he needs to get away, needs to step off. He's staying in that lane. Song's still around the red buff, though. And Shy is going to return. Macnoon having to go back, though, so he's going to be free. Are they going to dive on towards the mid lane? Song's going to pick up the race. You can see Watch just off the bush there. Ambition is going to come around to those wraiths, and he's going to go straight face first into Song. There's Song, pops onto him. He's going to pop his ultimate off. Nocturne could dive in. There comes Watch, diving straight on him. Is it going to be enough? It will be. He dodges out of the way of the rupture as well. They're trying to get down towards Song there. Well, he hasn't got the rupture to use. Instead, he's going to continue on to Song. He's got nothing to help him out, and Song walks away. Watch is a little bit low
his
here.
Oracles.
Yeah, Watch is very much in trouble. Is there going to be a hit on him before the turret takes him down? He's going to try and desperately get onto it. No, Shy comes in, messes it. The turret kill comes in. Could you believe it?
Good dodge out there by Watch. Very good ability to avoid giving the kill credit, but he still lost his Oracles, and that's a 400 gold hole. Falling behind on Nocturne can be devastating, so the fact that they're the first team to lose Oracles and they won't be able to replace that all that quickly is a bit of an issue for them overall. Another successful kill onto Ambition, but they're not really keeping his farm down.
Bot lane, they go Lustboy getting dropped there, tries to put the ultimate out, but Captain Jack has not got the damage return onto K now. Here comes Ambition. Ambition needs to pick this up. He gets the exhaust straight on him. It's Captain Jack that picks up. Teleport from Macnoon. Macnoon coming down the bottom there. He goes for Ambition, catches him in the unstoppable force. Ambition's going to try and throw out that card. Helios is keeping Prey busy. Prey's going to dodge out the
Oh, Song coming in
looking
too.
up towards the top. Ambition now flashes through. Is it going to be enough? He's taken very low. He gets the stun card out. It's just at the last minute. Isn't enough though. Song's going to come on towards. Song's taking tower damage. They're going to dive towards Helios. Helios with the Oracle. He's got to dodge. He's got to do anything he can. But that's another Oracle burn. It's Song that picks it up. Macnoon gets the assist. And that has turned around everything they needed. Shy picks up the top turret, but honestly, that was a great move from Najin Sword.
Traded the Oracles back, so that loss that Watch had earlier has been pushed right back onto Azubu Blaze. Macnoon using his teleport to keep his team in the game, really. It's 6-2 in kills, but they're still behind in gold because every time Macnoon goes to make a move, Shy counters it by pushing 154 to 76. Is a monstrous minion kill advantage. If you look at the gold, despite Macnoon being involved in fights, that's 2,000 gold advantage on Shy. So as a team, Najin Sword is down 1.3 thousand, but individually Macnoon is down 2,000 to Shy. So it's really when Olaf joins these team fights is when we're really going to see the strength of Azubu Blaze. They have to make that happen soon. And as you see that, as we're saying that, Shy coming down, Azubu forcing a dragon, all of Najin Sword's ults down right now. They're going to try to press this right here.
Helios has just put an Oracle straight up, so he does not want to leave that one. Watch coming in, but he's going north, so it means they're not even going to contest this one, and that will be a feast for Cho'Gath to pick that up, and that's going to extend their gold lead. So as it stands, though, Ambition is unable to get any of those kills rolling, as opposed to Song. Song's been getting pretty successful, 1-0-3. They're making a bit of an invade here. Helios puts the ward down, spots out Kane and Prey, and they clear the ward straight away.
Helios picked up the Oracle straight away after losing that one. One of the luxuries of being Cho'Gath, you don't really have to build damage items, and right away with that Shy coming down, he's such a huge threat. Push right off that bottom turret, pick it up. They're really going to try to sweep through the map here as long as Shy has that edge on McNoon. They do not want McNoon to catch up.
Well, in 19.5 minutes, he's a effectively slow turret slowly going down to Azubu Blaze here compared to the CLG EU game where they were knocking 2 down about 6 minutes in. McNoon, though, is getting free farm in this top lane. They can't afford to leave him free, and you can see Ambition's working out the raids there. He's maybe thinking of making a move up the top there. Shy heading back towards the top, but we do have Song coming around to the bottom lane again. And, well, is he going to catch on towards Captain Jack? Captain Jack on that turret on his own. They are going to back off. They're not going to go for it. Trinity Force now picked up by Ezreal.
So the Trinity Force rush this time by Captain Jack. In the CLG EU game, he did the Bloodthirster first. Just a different style this time. He's getting out-farmed a little bit by Prey, but because of the 2 kills, he is 300 gold ahead. I mean, that also has to do with the 2 dragons, or sorry, 2 towers and the 1 dragon that their team has picked up. Big play here, actually. Shy picking up a Warmog's armor. So 20 minutes into the game, he's got 3,000 health. But still, just pushing up that top lane, and as we say that, Najin pushing it on mid, trying to take a turret.
Helios has got to be careful here. He's got Song up and around him on that turret. They potentially could dive him. You can see he's just trying to clear out, gets them Vorpal Blades down, use his watch to quickly jump to. Shy's heading up down the bottom here. Is he going to go towards the turret here? Ambition wants to go for this one. Shy is just off to the side. They may try and make something happen here, Chad.
So Shy, they know he's there. They know he's strong too. Helios down there sweeping out with Oracle. They might look for a tower dive. They missed that. They're going to be able to disengage, I think.
They do disengage. They're going to go for the turret, then they will pick it up. So that's going to be all 3 outer turrets now taken down by Azubu Blaze. That's 3-0. Without reply. Bottom turret was taken pretty low, and immediately you can see Prey is heading down towards that south. So the rest of Azubu Blaze will disengage.
Right away, Azubu realized they were losing a bit, and as soon as Shy joined the game, really, just snap of a finger, 2 more turrets. He'd already taken the 1 lane, and he's taken that advantage elsewhere. He actually almost goes in and steals the blue buff away from Watch, but they're able to escape that just fine. All right, Helios taking out that dragon, up to 5 feast stack, not dragon, the red buff.
So did Watch actually have to use that there? He had to use the smite there to get that. Song surely wanted that.
I think it'll be all right. Katarina's manaless.
Yeah.
It's the cooldown reduction would be nice for some lane spam, but honestly, Nocturne gets substantially stronger with the blue buff. Spamming Q in the jungle, and especially the ultimate cooldown, is so long that the CDR from the blue buff really helps him if they try to get a gank in while he still has that blue buff. But with all the turrets down, it's very dangerous, especially with the quick re-Oracles pickup by Helios. They don't have much vision on the map. They're afraid to go into places because Ambition will turn around any gank on them.
Bot lane, you can see the Lustboy and Captain Jack were sat there. They were trying to bait Prey into something. Oh, there's pings on the middle of the map. They're going on towards Helios. They managed to catch him with a crescendo. Here comes Watch diving in. Song's on him as well. That's another Oracle bird. And now he dives on towards Ambition. Song gets stun carded though on the turret. They have to back off. But that's vital. Another Oracle down.
Helios going to be falling a little bit behind here. 0-2, 2 Oracles down. So that 5,700 gold, you know, down 800 from that just immediately. They get their first turret of the game off of that too. So this is actually a really close game. This is a different Blaze than we saw yesterday, and Najin Sword is doing their best to answer.
While that was happening, you saw True Shot Barrage come up. Hextech now being picked up by Shy. Shy really is very strong. Hix Drinker, sorry. So actually when he does finally get involved in these fights, he is going to be absolutely dominant. Sunfire Cape also picked up by McNoon, so McNoon's not going to be a slouch when he gets involved in these team fights.
It's a much different build that McNoon's had to go with this game. In all the previous setups, he's done full Magic Pen. This time, just having to go with that Sunfire Cape needs the resiliency because of how powerful Shy is. He needs to stack health too, just the true damage that could come through from Helios once he gets into those fights. And we look bottom lane, Watch just making his presence known. This is going to be the second turret for Najin, really coming back strong.
And they've not really got anything to reply to on that turret either. They were maneuvering there, but Najin Sword were just too quick. Lustboy with an Oracle this time around. That's a very, very squishy support to have an Oracle on, but Helios has lost 2 already, so they had to trade it to someone else.
Helios needing to get some other items in. They really have to get Helios getting ore items. They need Aegis of the Legion, they need Frozen Hearts, they need that kind of stuff, especially against Watch's Nocturne. they need the resiliency just to not get dove on and killed immediately. You can see Trinity Force coming out from Captain Jack. That's more resilient than Bloodthirster. But Azubu knows the dragon is coming up shortly, warding in, around, and behind it. Shy shoving up the top lane as well. He's going to have to make his way bottom for that dragon fight. And they still have the gold edge. Overall, they should still be a little bit stronger if they stay together and if they team fight properly. But it's so close. When a big fight erupts with the dragon, it could very well swing things.
So dragon about to spawn. You can see Najin Sword positioning for this one as well. Ambition actually backing off there. Watch is going to get caught out. True Shot Barrage going across. Bit of damage going on Watch, but it's not really enough to trouble them. Of course, Ambition could easily ulti his way in towards this fight if it were to go off. He's just picked up the DFG, so going to be a bit more stronger in that fight. But Abyssal Scepter as well. Shirelli is being picked up by Helios, so very much items starting to get built out here. But Corki is also very strong. Got that BF sword alongside it, and we're going to see, I think, the first big bite.
So Macnoon is up top with a teleport, but he's actually going to try to run down. They're stalling out a little bit here. Both Ambition is waiting to come down, and actually Najin realizes how strong Azubu is, and they just rush that dragon down. Will they fight afterwards? They're probably just going to disengage and try to push mid. That was a good sneak by Azubu, and they might look to fight in the jungle, but it looks like they're just avoiding each other.
Surely it's dangerous to fight in such a tight gap. Maybe they're going to dive Ambition. You can see Macnoon is just drifting. He's just above the screen there. He's just waiting. We've seen him so often doing these flash ultis onto towers, and Macnoon's thinking about it. He has backed away. He's realized the whole team was there, looking to try and get a position for it. But it's going to be a dangerous fight for Azubu. They don't want to fight in such a tight space.
Najin Sword being kind of a hot and cold team. When they win, they look like by far the strongest team in the world. And when they lose, the only time we really see them lose, as Ambition actually pops a Twisted Fate ultimate for Vision, when we see them lose, they don't look that impressive. In this game, despite being up 7 kills to 2, they haven't had that same edge. They're so good at snowballing advantages, but when they don't have it, they're not quite sure how to do. And here they're just revering up. They're going to go for Shy here.
Dive Shy, Unstoppable Force goes in. Is it going to be enough damage? He's on that turret. The turret's not got much damage itself, though. He's going to try and put it down, but that, surely the Warmogs is going to try and save him, but everybody comes around. The Captain Jack manages to pick up a kill on Kane. Kane goes down. Shy's going to get dropped on the turret. They've still not touched that turret, and they need to turn around, finally taking it down. So a 1-for-1 trade, but a top laner versus a support. Got to be happy with that trade.
They send the entire army up to kill Shy, and boy, did they need it. It took forever to get him, but because of that, they even the turret score at 3-3. They felt safe diving that turret because they knew Ambition had went bottom to clear that minion wave. Now, with only having Kane down, they're still trying to push on. But
going for it.
Here comes a fight.
They're diving for it. Why is Watch going to use the Oracle? He's not using it. He's not diving. He's gone towards Captain Jack. They're trying to pop on towards Captain Jack. Song's taken down very low. Helios does take down Prey. Lustboy's going to drop. He's got that Oracle. The Oracle goes down, but Watch might pay for it with his life. Yes, he does. Captain Jack picks up the kill there as well. And they are trading very nicely. Azubu Frost there. Blaze, sorry, this time around. Pretty much is Frost. They've got Shy in there carrying them.
So now we actually see Song just running away 3-for-1 just for an Oracle kill, not
Song's
worth it.
being chased.
9 kills to 6, and they're just flanking around. There's the TF ult. Song
His
gonna be in trouble.
Ambition comes in. He's not needed. Helios just feasts on him.
he didn't want to give the kill and assist gold to Ambition and Helios, or he didn't want to make sure, but you know, made Cho'Gath a little bit bigger, a little bit tastier, and they run him down pretty well there.
Well, he is a gentleman after all. He likes his tea, and blue buff is being picked up by Ambition here. Ambition stealing it away from the jungle. That's every bit of advantage that Azubu Blaze can pull from this one. Of course, remember, they have to go 2 rounds of best of 3 if they want to win the title here.
It's almost an MLG tradition. We end up getting the longest finals. Teams here are so good at just coming out of the losers bracket. There's just something about having that warm-up game. Azubu just so strong against CLG, riding all that momentum, and Najin really just kind of had to come in cold, you know. They're coming off yesterday. They didn't even have the last game yesterday. It's been a while since they played. Azubu just having so many more matches to get comfortable with, and they're coming out really strong. This lead, even though they're down in kills and even in turrets, because of the dragons they've picked up and because of the farm advantage they've accrued, looking pretty strong here.
Well, nearly 100 CS advantage for Shy now. He's just a farming monster compared to McNoon, who, you know, you would, oh, Song's been caught out. Song's going to get dived on here. He's going to get dropped. He manages to go crescendo, comes through just in the right time. Song still survived. He's gone off to the side. Shy does take down Song. The rest of the team are diving in. McNoon's in trouble. McNoon gets dropped by Captain Jack. Now they're on the 2. It's Shy's going fully aggressive here on towards Prey. Ambition comes out. Watson manages to take down Helios. Ambition tried to cover him off. They continue on that mid turret. They do take it down. Captain Jack there, but they did manage to get a trade back.
Just losing Song at the start of that fight is so much trouble for them. They need him to be there at the end of the fights. The fights have to start with Watch and McNoon and Song following, but that fight got brought to them, and they lost Katarina right at the start. Azubu Blaze really taking the initiative here, initiating right onto Najin's sword in the last couple fights and really just taking them on. Even going back a bit, the last fight they had up in the red jungle of Azubu, there was a second Oracle's Elixir lost by Watch. So Nocturne is falling pretty far behind here. He's dying quickly, he's not doing much damage, and he doesn't have a huge amount of impact. So despite the 4 kills, he's not a huge threat. McNoon having to go full tank. They really need those guys to be able to burst down the resilient Azubu team, and it's just not working out for them. They have to get the reset for Katarina. And, I mean, look at the items, D-Man. Look at the resiliency that's coming through on everyone. Negatron Cloak built very early on in the game by Lust Boys support, Aegis Allegiance, Warmog's armors, even just a Chain Vest being built by Ambition. They're really trying to make sure that they don't give up that reset, and it's just smart builds by Azubu contributing to this victory.
Well, and now Olaf is just a beast. I mean, he's got that Warmogs, he's got the Hex Drink, and now he's got a Randy in his omens to go with it. He's just going to be stomping through. He was the initiator back there. Actually, I tell a lie, it was Helios that just chomped on through and had a good bite out of Song's backside. So Song at the moment hasn't been able to pick anything up since the lane phase. 2-2-5 now still. Maybe got some assists, but no kills coming out, whereas Ambition still also struggling for it. So really, it's all about, well, 5-0-3, Captain Jack. You know, we talked about him so much in that MLG Summer Arena. He was so strong. We've seen highlight reels of him, dodging, cleansing, avoiding all sorts of damage. And, you know, God only knows how you pin him down when he's on Ezreal.
And they really need to be able to pin him down. The trading, essentially, they traded Kane's Sona pick for Captain Jack getting Ezreal, and it hasn't really paid off for them all that well. Kane, with the crescendo, getting the AoE team fights for that, but Lustboy, he has E on Zyra. That's almost your crescendo, and then you hop it in with the ultimate as well. So trading Zyra for Sona, maybe not the best, and giving up Ezreal is struggling. Here's another Dragon for Azubu. Will Najin Sword try to go for this? McNoon's going to go in.
They're going to dive in. It's going to be unstoppable force just at the right time. Doesn't really land. The Zyra ultimate does, though. And you can see Helios causing himself a problem. There's a crescendo. They catch on to us. Ambition's taken down very low. Song is putting a lot of damage down into him, but still no trade. Nobody dying. Everybody avoiding the damage. Shy does take down one. There's another. Captain Jack picks up a double kill. Song goes down. True Shot Barrage goes across. Double kill for Shy. Kane, the last man standing, and he's got trouble. They're all very low around him, but there's the triple kill for Shy, and Azubu Blaze clean house and pick up the ace.
What an impressive fight for Azubu. They knew exactly what Najin Sword wanted to do. They did lose the dragon, but they got the ace, and man, thank goodness they built resiliency, because 100 less health on anyone and everyone dies, because Katarina would have jumped to everyone and cleaned it up. But because they disengaged so well, because they're so good at getting away with slivers, we saw it when Azubu Blaze played Dignitas yesterday as well. They can escape fights with seemingly nothing. It's not luck, it's just their skill level. They know exactly how much damage they can take and when to disengage. And after losing a fight like that, getting an ace so close, your mindset gets messed up a bit. Najin Sword thinks they're still really close, but once Azubu buys after that entire ace, they're going to be just that much stronger, and it's going to be that much more difficult for Najin to fight.
And just looking at the gold across the board, you can see it's 9K, but there's massive advantages. Look at Shy compared to McNoon. That is enormous. 4K just on the top laners alone.
And just look at Shy compared to the rest of the game. Really, Shy and Captain Jack so strong. Najin going all that aggression, though, trying to get Lustboy down. And look at the disengage from Zyra. That root just coming through and completely shutting that gank down.
And True Shot Barrage also whisked across them. Blue buff spawns. They're going to go for it. But the rest of Azubu Blaze already responded. Puts the Rupture down. Manages to get the Leash Net. Watches. Doesn't want to get involved in this one. They're going to try and pick up the blue. They will take it away. And they spot McNoon, actually, in that bottom lane. Of course, he does have teleport, but it's not quite the Stand United that you get with Shen. And Azubu, how do you stop Azubu Blaze now? Because they've turned the last two fights really massively in their favor.
It's almost like they're focusing the wrong targets in a sense for Najin Sword, because they're going for Captain Jack and he's able to disengage. But what they really need to do is they're getting everyone low because of all their AoE. They just don't have the finish. So they actually, normally you're trained to go for priority targets, right? You'd have to get down the damage dealers and then you roll through the rest of the fight. But with the Katarina, I almost feel like they should go for Lust Boy, since he is the squishiest and he has that Oracles and he's putting himself in vulnerable situations. If they get that, then maybe they can change to the rest, because you clearly can't start off with Helios or Shy because they are gargantuan right now. The health, you're not going to kill one of those first. If they can get Lust Boy, maybe they can chain on to Captain Jack, and they just, hate to say it, have to dive harder and go even more all in, because the cleanup from Azubu is so high. Seeing as Captain Jack has that Infinity Edge with Last Whisper and Trinity Force, he's just crushing down, and it's full tank on Najin's sword, so I don't know if they're able to burst him down, but they're going to have to try, because this is really dire.
Well, I mean, you just look, Negatron's cloak stacked across the board, Warden's Mail, Frozen Heart, Aegis, they're just trying to defend as much as they can. And I'm pretty sure the famous usage of League of Legends is, you know, if you've got to go aggressive if you want to go defensive.
It's one of those things. McNoon needs to be able to stay alive long enough so that Song can come in at the end of fights, and it's so tough. Look at the frontline positioning by Azubu. Helios and Shy being the only presentable targets. And it's so hard for them to get through that tank line. Surprised Azubu's still poking up here. I'd expect them to almost go, clear the jungle, get the other outers down, maybe force towards Baron. They really have Najin on their heels here, and they do have total control.
Shy just landing that true damage and just mashing down McNoon. There's nothing really that they're able to do against this one. Are they baiting them out in towards the jungle? Now Ambition's going to go down the bottom. Of course, he can just ultimate into the fight if they require. Najin trying desperately to defend this middle inhibitor. It's the only one that's exposed right now, and the Azubu Blades obviously have the freedom of just free farming across the map, blue buff being picked up, everything being taken away, and Najin's sword just being forced back into their base.
So let's see if there's any big items that they're waiting for before they go in. They have that Guardian Angel onto Ambition. That's quite important. They're not really hugely up in gold overall. Maybe a Force of Nature will come out onto Shy, but that's not very soon. Do they have an Oracles? Yes, they do. Lust Boy sweeping around Baron. It looks like this is the next direction they're going to look to force. Ambition, of course, with the Guardian Angel, will be able to flank around the back and maybe get a proper initiation for them if they try to go. And they're pushing onto the Baron here. They're going to look to peel, most likely, off of this. McNoon coming in with the teleport. Here's a Najin fight.
Here they come in, they're diving in towards it, but Shy just going full aggression in their face, watches on towards him, and McNoon still yet to use that unstoppable force. Now he pops it on towards, catches on towards Lust Boy, but it's just too little too late. Song getting stun carded. The moment he got into ultimate, he's not going to get a reset. He gets dropped by Captain Jack. Legendary status comes out. Shy is just monstering his way through them, and Captain Jack is cleaning up behind, and Kane in all sorts of trouble. Ambition's going to pop that ultimate, keeping full vision on them. He goes on towards McNoon. McNoon trying desperately to escape Ambition. It's a triple kill for Captain Jack. Shy picks up, takes down Prey, and McNoon, the last man, just desperately running and fleeing. But Azubu Blaze are going to pick up the Baron. It's a two-man Baron, and Shy can just absolutely farm this one out, no problem.
And that fight, the positioning from Azubu was impeccable. Helios taking so much damage, such a tanky Cho'Gath. Shy also just, with his 3,800 health, 4,300 health, sorry, soaked everything from them. Najin, another just lose the fight drastically, almost getting aced, but everyone taken low. And you can only do that so many times before you end up losing the game. Great fight by Azubu, and an even bigger advantage taken out of that one.
And there is the tower, there was the Baron, and Azubu Blaze turning their advantages into gold. 49.4k for Najin Sword, 62.7 for Azubu Blaze. Looking very strong in game one. 6-3 up in turrets. They've taken that middle inhibitor turret down, and really, you know, Song's not been able to get involved in this one. They're so prepared at stunning him. The split second he goes to put that Death Lotus down.
Great job by them. There's just awareness situationally and team comp-wise. They play against Katarina. They know exactly how to handle it. And if you would have asked almost anyone yesterday what was going to happen today, it's like, well, you know, Azubu and COJ are going to play, and then they're going to get 2-0'd by Najin in the finals, because that's what it looked like yesterday.
17-2 yesterday, I think. They're both games, somewhere around there. It was absolute domination.
And right now, this has been a much closer, very well-fought game by both teams, but 14,000 gold advantage coming out for Azubu. Obviously, off the back of some incredibly close team fights. They're going to look to close out here, and man, they got a long road ahead of them if they want to finish this game and continue. Extended series, not easy to come back from, but we could have a show here on Championship Sunday.
Let's hope so. Nobody wants to see a quick and easy final. Ambition completing that bottom lane, just farming it out, pushing it along. I guess the inner turret down the bottom will be the next focus for Azubu Blaze. They're doing it tutorial style. They're cleaning out every single lane, making sure they don't make any mistakes. And McNoon needs to be cautious here. As you can see Shy coming around the side there, trying to clear out that ward. Helios is going to come in. They're keeping the vision. They put that ward down just to make sure they didn't get dived around the back. And as soon as they realized they're in a problem, they had to back away. They're struggling to defend this one, Jack.
With the middle inhibitor turret already down, that's usually your point of protection that you can hold, but when you have that entrance into your base, it just becomes so difficult to hold. Now with the Baron buff, I kind of expect Azubu to just kind of run in with their front line, take a bit of poke, and just go. They're giving the blue buff to Captain Jack because they're going to be poking back and forth a lot with Ambition's wildcards and Captain Jack's Mystic shots. They're going to make sure all the side lanes push at the same time. That's why Captain Jack is going up top lane. They're going to try to split up Najin's sword, and they're going to put their tanks up in front. Shy and Helios so hard to kill, and they're just going to wait for Najin's sword to go in. They'll slowly take the turret and force the hand on Najin's sword's initiation, and they'll try to win another fight like they've done the last 3 or 4. And really, it's going to be very difficult for Najin to counter this.
Very much a clear attack by Azubu Blaze. They are really cautious in their approach, so I mean the fact that they are 14k ahead, they are massively in an advantage. Oh, Song's getting caught out. Big hit from Shy there, forces him back, and immediately Azubu try and force their dominance. McNoon's looking for an opportunity. You can see it's Captain Jack he wants to go for. Shy getting eaten all the damage. Look at that, everything going down. Pops the Ragnarok. There we go. They're going to dive in, but immediately dropped. Captain Jack manages to take down Prey. Prey getting dropped. They're trying to dive. McNoon has to force away. Ambition pops his ultimate to keep them all at bay. Hasn't used it. They just take down the inhibitor. Going to go around, tank the turret, and Azubu Blaze surely going to clean house in this base.
And you see everything getting dumped onto Shy, and it's like, hey, why are they going for that super tanky Olaf? And it's because they're not giving them any other choices. Their positioning is forcing the hands of Najin to focus those targets. And this is very impressive play. They're just continually taking down everything in Najin's base. Not much Najin can do in this situation.
And Captain Jack, he doesn't particularly target anyone. It's just whoever's nearest, he will go for, because he knows he's that strong, that destructive. Now, Trinity Force, look at McNoon just getting dropped down. One more shot. There it is. Captain Jack taking McNoon down. He is now 12-0-6. Captain Jack proving really why he's a dominant force on that AD lane. They were talking about earlier whether he's the best in that bottom lane. I disagree. I think Wei Zhao is. But honestly, he is performing fantastically well here. Shy gets caught out. Stun card comes down. Domination by Azubu Shy. And Blaze are going to take game 1 here at the MLG 4 Championships. It is going to be 1-0. They've got a lot of games to go, but that's a good start.